Seconds.
Welcome to Clever Title Pending, a proud member of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We talk to creatives about creativity and the business behind them. So type in your questions and become part of the conversation. And now, here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
And good evening, one and all. How the heck are you? Welcome to a very special, maybe, episode of Clever Title Pending. Normally we had, we actually announced that Glenn B. Fleming, artist, writer, world traveler, novelist, does everything well. It's nauseating to us normal humans. Anyway, he was supposed to show up on the show tonight, but there has been death in his family. We send our love and prayers of comfort to the Fleming family. And Glenn has promised we will reschedule that show. So we will see Glenn Fleming soon. So rather than impose upon one of my friends to come on the show at the last minute, we decided we will have an AMA. Ask me anything. Let's see what answers I will come up with. Remember, I will answer anything. So, but we'll get to that soon enough, because right now we've got to say some thank yous, and we are grateful as always to Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics for sponsoring this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. When you're looking for a cover that will draw people in to pick up that book and make it theirs, paying for it first, of course, then you're going to want an expert, somebody who knows graphics inside and out, and that's Jeffrey Hayes. Check him out on his Facebook page and at plasmafiregraphics.com. Not only can you get a beautiful wraparound book cover, you can also get probably a comic book cover for him. He probably does those. I bet he would if he was asked nicely and paid. But also he does graphics that'll help you sell your work, as well as beautiful trailers. Do go to his website, plasmafiregraphics.com, and inquire about his rates. You'll be glad you did. Anyway, he's very affordable, I will tell you that. Anyway, check him out at plasmafiregraphics.com. When the look of your book matters to you, because it matters to your readers. And we also want to give a shout out to author Amy Hale. Please check out Amy Hale on Amazon. Amy is feeling much better. John is her husband, John, who also had the My Sharona Miley Cyrus. He's back at work. Lord love him. And Amy and John are both on the mend, and we're glad to hear that. That's the best news we've heard in days. But also, while we're in an attitude of gratitude, let's give it up for our Patreon subscribers. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can directly support your favorite creative people. And these are the folks who, God bless them, are supporting me. I love each and every one of them. And Damian Waldron and Dory Jones, welcome to the list. And Damian also has designed our brand new website at www. Let me get the right thing on here at risingtide.pub, www.risingtide.pub. But anyway, he's one of my supporters, and I'm very, very grateful. All these people, because they help keep this broadcast on the air and thriving. And if you are a fan of the Rising Tide, if you're a fan of the Rising Tide Network, please consider signing up for my Patreon. We're going to be doing some more work for it. We've got some things we got to make up to them, like some more blogs and some more chapters of the Terrors. But that should happen soon. And if you want to find out what we offer in return for your support, please check us out at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And mentioning the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, thank you to this wonderful supportive group of creators who are busy putting out fresh content. Now, we're going to be making some changes in the upcoming couple of months. We're hoping to get Amy Hale back with Creative as Hale. And I will be doing a new morning show in addition to Nevermind the Furthermore that we will have announcements for that probably next week. So please stay tuned to this network. And we've got your entertainment and information covered 7 days a week. So please take a screenshot and check out what we do. There's a lot of great stuff. And also, let's see, tomorrow morning will be Nevermind the Furthermore, starring me. Come see me anyway. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern will be The Truth Mongers with Ted Davies and another co-host. Haven't heard yet who. So anyway, please tune into that. That's going to be great. It's going to be about the Mandela effect. Which I'm really looking forward to. That's one of my hot buttons as far as conspiracy theories go. So we'll check that out. We hope you enjoy tomorrow's programming. It's going to be fantastic. And also, don't forget, we have a YouTube challenge this channel has. We would like to hit 1,100 subscribers by the end of Halloween night. It's not impossible. I've seen people do it. Let's see if we can do it, all right? And if we hit that magic goal, what will happen is I am going to schedule very quickly a 12-hour Nevermind the Furthermore. We'll have some special guests and some giveaways and some fun, special fun. But it won't happen until I hit 1,100. So please, if you would please share this video, please tell your friends about us, and let's get me to 1,100 because that'd be swell. So anyway, we've got your comments, and this is the part that makes me want to fill my depends right now because I know how you people think, and I'm probably letting myself in for a lot of trouble. Aren't I, Donna Carly, Carlene? You ask anything, yeah. Oh, dear, it's going to be a train wreck, asked Carl Witzman. Well, what else is new? How is that different from any other of my shows? That's right. Train wrecks are fun. And Carl, you're not the only one who's going to need a drink. I think I'm going to need several before this is over. And someone would say train wreck, Joe Dog McKeel, the host of Stupid O'Clock every Thursday night at 9 p.m. on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, as well as Saturday night at 11 p.m. all times Eastern. And also check out Last Man Standing with Dan Hollifield following that show. It's just water, don't panic. And anyway, hello, everyone. How are you? We are well, Ryan. How the heck are you? And there's Engineer McKeel. Everyone's saying hello to each other. I like it. And hey there, Michaela Jade. So much fun hanging out with you on Saturday at Kokomo Con. And also, please check out Michaela's Tidbits and Scribbles, now moved to Monday nights at 7 p.m. And also her morning motivationals every weekday morning. When you wake up, she's already out the door, but she's already eaten your lunch if you haven't done anything creative. And the Historical Fencing Guild, howdy, folks. And impose away, that's what friends are for. Nick, I'm going to be putting you to the test real soon. Nick will be returning a special panel in September. And but anyway, I'm going to see if I can handle this one, Nick. If I start crying, I'll send you the link. And thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. Hello, Lou Motion. How are you, my friend? Hey, Lou. Saw you had some great stories in the latest. What was it? I'm going to get it right because I'm still not used to the title yet. Vampiress Carmilla. Check this magazine out. Your local comic shop should have it. It's also available at Barnes & Noble, and I believe also Books A Million, so please check it out. And shower Lou Motion with praise. Hello, Rick Bradley. How are you, my friend? Rick Bradley's going to be on upcoming episode 2. It's going to be a lot of fun because Rick Bradley is there. And hello, everyone, and please don't forget to like. Yes, thank you. If you're watching us on Facebook, please give this video a like if you enjoy any part of it. And also, if you haven't already, please like the page you're watching it on if you can, as a thank you to our hosts. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Subscribing just takes a moment, doesn't cost you a thing, but a half a second. And also, don't forget to tingle that little bell so you'll be notified of all of our upcoming appearances. And what do you wish the people in your circle knew about you that maybe they don't? Oh, yeah, that's Nick Tockert starts us out. By the way, Nick Tockert has his great show, The Historical Fencing Guild, on YouTube every Friday night at 8 p.m. It is a wealth of great, fun information on how to murder your friends safely. What do I wish the people in my circle knew about me that maybe they don't? Yeah, because that's a good question, because I've said for years that it's not that I'm secretive, especially with my friends. If anything, I'm the emperor of TMI. But what do I wish they knew about me? How much I really care about them, how much I am concerned for them, and I don't have any children of my own, so I guess the urge to protect, and that's what my boy Superman does. He protects when he can, and I want to take care of those close to me. So, which includes folks in my circle. So anyway, how do you balance? Michaela Jade asks, how do you balance everything you do? Usually poorly. I am usually fairly organized. Sometimes, though, I allow myself to get derailed by one, projects I think I can get done quickly and usually can't, and two, paying gigs. I'll push grandmother under a bus to get a paying gig. Probably. That's probably what I don't want my circle to know about me. But anyway, but no, it's that's I try to balance everything. I do make lists, like you mentioned in your morning motivation. I think it was this morning or yesterday, and most of the time I'm good at prioritization. But sometimes I will drop it for a good friend wanting something, or if Cookie wants something, she's used to getting it now, as you can understand. So I do try to balance everything in my life, because I've got so many things going, and every now and then I have to stop and prioritize, what do I need to stop doing in order to do the other things better, or to bring them up more effectively, I guess, is the way I would describe it. But I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for asking, Michaela. And thank you, Nick, for your question. Ryan Permisson, question: I have an idea for a story about a character named Reese set in the Old West with the theme of redemption. I am all over that so far. However, I am better at verbally expressing my thoughts than putting them on paper. Also, I'm a visual learner, so should I try to write this as a short story, or try to make this story into a 24-page comic book? Any advice I would greatly appreciate. Okay, this is a super, super question, Ryan, and I appreciate your asking it, because I think you're going to help a lot of people with this. I feel that frequently the story will tell you the form it needs to take. If you have a story that is vast and expansive, you may want to do it as a novel, or you could do it as a novella or a short story. How long do you think it will take this story to tell? Also, which medium do you feel more comfortable with? Do you, the fact that it's visual screams comic book and graphic novel at me. But in this case, you're talking 24 pages, which is a really good amount of pages for a comic. I would, since you mentioned that, I think you should maybe try to do it initially as a comic book, and then give a thought later to novelization of it, so that you have the same story. You can maybe flesh it out a bit more in the prose version, but then you also have two streams of income, which is the practical side of this. Another thing about writing, whether it's prose or in comics, visual should be the emphasis. Show don't tell is what the nebulous they always say. So if I wanted to show, say, Reese, I could say in a story, Reese hated Parmalee. But wouldn't it be more effective if Reese walked up and slammed Parmalee in the face? And I chose that name because Reese was the name of a character named by or played by Neville Brand in one of my favorite westerns from the 60s called Laredo. It only lasted a couple of years, but it was funny, it was exciting, and just a lot of fun. And their captain was named Parmalee. But anyway, that's a great question. If you feel you are more comfortable with writing comics, which has a lot of limitations in the format itself. For instance, you can't go wild with dialogue. You can't have like 50 panels on a page. There is almost a formula to it that you should adhere to in order to make it more readable for the reader, not necessarily so you can cram your story in. This is where you have to figure out what's the nuts and bolts of your story. So I'd say give both a try, and you may find that it. And this is, I don't know how much experience you have with this, Ryan, and I don't mean this as any sort of insult, but because sometimes we go into situations where we don't have the skill set to properly execute the format. For a long time, I couldn't get novels until I got one bit of information I needed, and then it all clicked. But I love the redemption angle. I believe in redemption in real life. I eagerly await some people to have it. And there couldn't be enough of it. So definitely keep me posted on this, Ryan. I would love to help you as much as I can. Sarah, here, having a new YouTube page. Good evening. Well, good. Is it mine? Is it yours? Are you starting a YouTube page? I would watch it. I'd watch the heck out of it. And Michaela Jade, when you write, do you need a quiet room or music playing in the background? Generally, probably 75% of the time I have quiet. Just the ambient noise that comes with living on a semi-busy street in central Indiana. If I have I used to write with music or the TV on, but I realized after a while how I was being distracted by it. Now sometimes I'll have music on, but it's got to be instrumentals. And I've recently found, I think thanks to people like Nick Tockert, there are entire channels on YouTube that are nothing but a certain type of music. And I will have on that stuff that's more or less what you hear, like when you go to the like for meditation and all. That's the sort of thing that I like to have in the background, just if I want some sort of white noise in the background. Or if I had one of those little waterfalls, I used to have one, but it was a really cheap one. It wasn't very good. But I like the sound of running water. I'd probably have that. But otherwise, then it's total silence. That really helps. My concentration to a degree. But there's a fine line between being able to concentrate and being distracted by it, even subliminally, which is what I found with television. So I hope that answers your question. And Ryan, try both. See, Lou Motion knows he can do both, and I bet you could too, Ryan. I bet you got it down. And another morning show. The answer is yes. It will be in addition to. I'll give you a little bit because it's not all firmed up yet. Otherwise, I'd have announced it to the network. But I have talked about it with a couple of people. I am going to start another morning show. It will be 5 days a week. It's not going to be 2 hours, though. But right now I'm hammering down the last bits of what the title is eluding me, actually. I've got a few things, and I may ask the network for help. But it's something to quote Stephen Moffat, I'll explain later, but that's the answer I can give publicly right now. Anything, I'll be a good girl. Well, if you're a bad girl, who knows what else you'll get. And Ted had to find some goober to take Glenn's place tomorrow night on the Truthmongers. I think he's a former counselor and heavy drinker. Also one of my favorite humans too, I bet. Woo, that was close. I thought it'd be me. Man, that was rough. I was sweating that. No, if Carl's going to be on tomorrow on the Truthmongers, I wasn't sure. He had talked about asking you first. And I'm like, do this thing. Seriously, do it, because Carl's so much better than I am. And no, Michaela, it's not imposter syndrome. I'm recognizing Carl's talent. But anyway, Carl and Ted will be on the Truthmongers. The same people that bring you that wonderful cigar show are going to bring you the news about the Mandela effect. And if you don't know what that is, then tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern and find out. Carl, I'll try to be in the audience and heckle. And anyway, Ryan Permisson just bought the Evolution Man shirt from Plasma Fire Graphics. Can't wait to wear it. It was a good book, wasn't it? Charles F. Milhouse did a great job on that book. It stands on its own, but yet it's a loving homage to the $6 Million Man. Plus, if you like some of the covers that you see from Jeffrey Hayes, you can get them on t-shirt and other merchandise. Go to plasmafiregraphics.com and discover them. And Luna and I are here, folks. Don't worry. Brian Rodman, I can breathe easier now, brother. I'm so glad you're here. Hope you're having a good night. And don't forget that Brian Rodman, along with Eric S. Hawkins and Clyde Hall and I, will be on Thursday nights, this coming every Thursday night, for Comic Book Spectrum, where we're going to review the latest comic books and talk about the funny book industry. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll plug the upcoming Shudder #1 and the next Vampires Camilla, which have stories by me. We'll do that, Lou. I'm waiting for you to plug them anyway. And Michaela says, how much time do you devote daily on marketing? Not enough. To one degree or another, I probably do about an hour, maybe two, in various ways. And by marketing, it's not always that I've got something out there promoting my work, but it's also stuff I'm learning, which is very important. In fact, I'm trying to get more of a handle on YouTube right now. Not that, but it's one of those things that the minute you think YouTube, you know what YouTube's doing, they swerve on you. So the only one worse is Facebook. But anyway, so a lot of my day is meant, or, I shouldn't say a lot, but 1 or 2 hours a day are usually researching this broadcast thing, because I really do want to do it better. I think I'm okay. I give myself a B- as far as broadcasting goes. I think part of it is because I don't like my voice, and two, there are things I would like to do, but I have a feeling that what I would like to see happen is probably beyond my ability to run a show and as the on-air talent and direct at the same time. Also, producing could be a little dicey. I was feeling a little down today, actually, because I understand family emergencies, and that's cool. It's not cool if they have them, but it does happen, and I am understanding of it. But I've had a couple people cancel because of things beyond their control, things that happen, and I've only had it this year. I've been doing the current iteration of Clever Title Pending for about 2 years now. And I'm only now starting to get people canceling on me. I've had, if I have a group thing, I've had one person maybe not be there, and that's a little easier to take. But when you have your sole guest, that's, you can move on, but it's you still have to figure out how you're going to roll with it. And I think I need to learn more about how to roll with changes on this show. Also, because I have an image of what I'd like this show to be, and I just can't do it right now at my skill set. All right. So I guess I hope that's I hope that's a good answer, Michaela, but thank you very much for asking. And everyone's saying hello to each other. Bring Cookie home. Ryan, that's what this program is about. And loving Halloween. That's my darling Sarah. Sarah, mwah, I agree. And hey, if you do that 12-hour podcast, feel free to invite me to visit. I would be honored. Stay safe, man. I will. Randy, you were on my list. You really were. Also, check out Sunday Funnies every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Also, check out Coffee Talk on Thursday mornings at 9. And also check out Nightly at 9 on the Devote radio and television channel. And congratulations, Randy. I sent a nice note, I hope, to Barry and Grant about his new partnership. I think I'm really excited by what you guys are doing. I really am. And notice I haven't nagged you about the submission yet. I'm a pro, that's why. But anyway, seriously, no, I would be honored to have you on, Randy. I think you're awesome. I know how to do it. I would bring you and Bobby Nash and me on. We wouldn't need any other guests. It'd just be the three of us talking. That would be a lot of fun. I don't, I just sit here and get my hail pail and my pod catheter out, and I'm ready for the night. So, anyway, Randy, thank you though. I appreciate that. I will definitely hit you up for that. Once I hit that, because I want to be in the same rarefied air as Indie Volt. And I'm really proud of what you guys do. I really am. I tease Varian and he teases me, but man, he's the goal. He's really somebody I really would love to be able to emulate. I recognize my skill set though at this point. So, but I'm glad he's doing it. He deserves it. You guys work hard for what you do. And Superman is the great hero and worthy of imitation. Exactly. And I think it's because of that. That's when he works. when you think of him as a hero that not only rights wrongs but sets the pace and the example, I think that's when Superman works. Beef or pork? I have to admit, I'm a bigger fan of beef than I am of pork, but you barbecue either one and it's dinner time. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Joe Dog McKeel. And what is the criteria for Historical Fencing Guild asks, what is the criteria to use to decide which cons and festivals to attend versus work? I was about to say, I'm not employed. Actually I am. I'm working for Prose Press right now on an edit. But criteria, that's a great question, Nick. A lot of factors come into mind. Do I know, I have to balance them all. And it's like, do I know the promoter? Does the show have a history? Do I have anyone who could recommend the show to me who is maybe in my peer group? And by peer group, I mean, it's not necessarily like certain shows will be nicer, say, to comic book people than they will be to novelists, and vice versa. Or there are some shows that cater only to their celebrity guests, and everyone else on the floor is on their own. But anyway, I want to know, is the con established? What kind of traffic do they do? The cost of the tables is very important, or maybe if I can get in as a guest because I do bring a certain amount of quality to a show. In that I will put on a panel. I will do a panel for just about any show I'm at as a guest. If I have to pay to be there, I may not be quite so charitable, but because I've got to sell stuff, and even that hour an hour and a half usually that I'm away, that's sales that I could be making because I'm my own best salesman, as we all are. But yeah, it's things like that. Also, who's on the guest list? Do I know anyone there? Do I know the promoter? What kind of facility is it? I've been to a couple of cons. I didn't check out the neighborhood very well. And I'm like, oh crap, is my car going to have all four wheels by the time I come out here? So I try to, there's a whole lot of things like that. I would do the Fowler Public Library though, any day of the week though. As long as I'm not broadcasting. But anyway, Brian Rodman, BrianRodman.com, and also the Dastardly Dingoes premiering soon. I'm excited about that. What is your 5-year goal creatively, and how important do you think it is to have a 5-year goal? I think it is, answering in reverse, like Mr. Pitalik, I think it's very important to have a 5-year goal. A realistic 5-year goal. When I started this full time in 2012, my 5-year goal was to have the company self-sustaining, and it pretty much is. It took a little longer than 5 years, but for the most part, it is self-sustaining. My 5-year-old, why am I calling it a 5-year-old? Because it behaves like one. No, or I do. But no, my 5-year goal at this point is to bring Cookie home. That's been my goal, my primary goal for the last 3 or 4 years, and I make no secret of it. But you've also got to plan your intermediary goals. Right now, my intermediary goal is, my 1-year goal is to get through this year. This year is kind of, and it kind of flashes back to Nick Tockert's question. This year, every year you go through your shows, and you should, and you may have to make some tough decisions and say, okay, I can't do this show anymore. I have a blast, but I don't sell a blessed thing when I'm there. Or I'm cutting out this show because I'm sensing trouble I'm having with someone there. Or this is just not my venue. Is this a profitable show is probably the most asked question. Is this my show? Was this just a fluke? Was this just a bad year? Should I go back every other year? Those are things you have to ask yourself. But because of the 2020, this year is kind of skewed. Next year we'll be doing some more shows with different promoters. We will keep probably, I'd say 80% of the shows we're doing now. But if we don't do well at some shows this year, and decide to no longer go, it will be because the con has a history of underperforming for me, which is not their fault, probably not my fault. It just is what it is. So yeah, I think having a 5-year goal. In fact, I think having a 2 and a 3 and a 5-year goal is good. And just remember, you can always rewrite the goals if you don't make them. Sarah, well, you have 2 followers from me after creating this new page. Mwah, darling, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And hope you get my email today, Brian. Well, Ryan, thank you. I hope it's all well with me. Everything's pretty good. I think I'm, well, actually, it's, I'll let somebody ask me. Hamburgers or hot dogs? Ooh, now that's a difficult one. When I'm looking for murdered animals, to eat, let me think. Ooh, I love a good hamburger. I really do. And hamburgers are one of those things that it's very, it's kind of funny. I think I would, although I realize it takes, 36 minutes off my life, I probably would rather do a hot dog because I can do more with it. I can do a lot with it. I can cut it into medallions and brown it and put it on a salad. I can have them as is and then dress up the hot dog however I want. Of course, I can do the same thing with hamburgers. I think I like the flavor of hamburger better, actually. But hot dogs seem so very versatile in a way that a meat patty is not to me. Or I just need to work up my cooking chops again. Rick Bradley says, whenever you start feeling low, what brings your spirits up besides us? That is dude, asked and answered, really. Okay. I've said this before. I don't say it enough. There's many a time I don't want to do the show. I don't want to do any of it. And it has nothing to do with the work. I love the shows. I love talking with everyone here, but there are just some days the psychochemicals don't mix properly. And I don't want to broadcast. I don't want to write. I don't want to breathe. But I come on here because I recognize I have promised that I would be here, and I keep my promises. And then I start talking to you guys and I'm better again. It's like, you guys are great counseling, even when I don't talk about my problems. It just all seems to balance out when I talk to you guys. So seriously, that builds my spirits up. Other than that, when I'm not broadcasting as therapy, reading something positive, talking to positive people, seeing things made right makes me happier. Discovering new music, rediscovering an old song that I like. Yesterday, I rediscovered, I was a huge fan of Yes back in the day. And I found their, when they were inaugurated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this was right after their bass player died. And so they got Geddy Lee of Rush, and they played one of my favorite Yes songs, Roundabout. And it was a blending of the classic, the 70s version and the 80s version. Trevor Rabin was with them. Rick Wakeman was with them. John Anderson was back. And of course, Steve Howe but Chris Squire had passed away. And I'm blanking on the name of the drummer. Damn it. Alan White. Thank you. But they played this wonderful, wonderful rendition of Roundabout. That was just absolutely fantastic. And what else? Now I'm finding the catalog of Sparks, Ron and Russell Mail, to cheer me up too. But that's pretty much what it is. Just basically something that pulls me out of my head for a while. White or red wine? I'm a red wine kind of guy. I like sweet red wine. And we've got a couple shows coming up in Southern Illinois real soon that I've got to hit the booze places down there, because we found some some area wines down there that Cookie and I were like, wow, this is awesome. So we got to load up the back end of the van. By the way, our next appearance will be September 4th in Harrisburg, Illinois at BurgCon. I will be joined by Kathy Jackson and her husband Matthew. Kathy, we hope you're feeling better today. Hopefully Amy Hale and John will be there and feeling hearty and hale as always. Yes, I said that deliberately. Also, Rick Bradley will be there as a guest. It will be wonderful, and we'll also be joined by three of my favorite humans on the planet, Brian Rodman and Eric Hawkins and Clyde Hall. Well, Brian, that sounds like the cast of the Comic Book Spectrum. Why, yes, it does. And in fact, we're going to be doing a special broadcast from there if we can. If not, we're going to record something and deliver it later. But anyway, I'm a red wine guy, and again, I like sweet over dry. I do like some semi-sweets and some semi-dries, but I prefer sweet. I like, I don't want it quite to the point where I can pour it over a stack of pancakes. Okay, there was a winery in near where I used to live, and they had a wine that the sugar content was incredibly out of this world, and it was had a picture of a couple of bucking broncs from the Old West on the front, and it was called Two Bucking Sweet, which it was, but we drank it anyway. And here we go. Urged let's see, Ryan Permisson. What's the difference between novel and novella? Word count is actually the difference. A novel, I can't remember. I can never remember what the lines are. If somebody would like to look that up, let's see. Hold on a second. Let me see. I could probably do it here. Novel and novella word count. There we go. All right. A novella, according to the master class, novella is a fictional piece that between a short story and a novel with anywhere from 10,000 to 40,000 words. There's also something called the novelette that has a word count between 7,500 and 17,000 words. So there's a little bit of overlap, but anything above 40,000 words is generally considered a novel. So Ryan, I hope we helped you there. And Urge to Protect is the same for me. That's why we get along so well, Sarah, for many reasons. And the Historical Fencing Guild, Nick Tockert asks, you have an audience of creators here. What kind of things do you wish people would make? What kind of author resources that you can't find? Wow. That is heavy. And it might be the sort of let's see. I wish people would make. And it's something that we've kind of talked about on this Rising Tide Broadcasting or on the secret page. We have, the Rising Tide Broadcasting page. We have a public page. We hope you'll subscribe to it. Many of our programs are on there. But we also have a private page that is basically just the people, the on-air entertainers. And I'd like to see more, and we kind of touched on this today in there. We've been having a few lively conversations since last Sunday. And I'd like to see more of us do how-tos. Michaela is doing a great how-to with Tidbits and Scribbles. I would like to see something like more like a master class. I think of all of us bringing our different disciplines. I mentioned in the thing, I'd love to see Ted and Carl collaborate on a cigar tutorial, how to pick a cigar, how to smoke it, how to light it, etc., what to do with the ashes. I think that would be brilliant. What kind of author resources are that you can't find? I don't know that there's any that I can't find for myself. I wish more people had access to publisher guidelines, though, or knew how, or maybe a place where people, and again, I'm not saying myself because I have the answers, but a lot of people say, well, how do I submit comic stories to DC? Hint, you can't. They're what is called a closed shop. Marvel is the same, and you have to know which ones you need an artist accompanying you to submit to, what their terms are, which ones pay in comp copies, which ones don't pay at all. Same with book publishers, although Writer's Digest, The Writer, and Writer's Market do a superb job. But I wish that was more of a central place where we could find information like that. So and it was more for other people than myself, because then I don't have to answer those questions. Let's see, here we go. Oh, we got a big comment dump. Someone took a comment dump on us. Anyway, Sarah says your protection methods are better than mine. Well, yeah, I've got better shielding, I guess. And thanks for answering my questions, Ryan. Bring them on, buddy. And even when I'm not doing this, you are to consider me a resource, all right? And anyone in the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, Michaela's made a big point of it this week on her shows, that you can ask almost any one of us how to do this thing we are doing, whatever it is, and I pretty much guarantee you'll get an answer. All right. And if I read books in quiet, I will write in quiet. Well, that makes a lot of sense, Ryan. That makes a lot of sense. And if you read a lot of books, you're going to be a better writer, believe it or not. And what book would you like to see become a graphic novel form like Edgar Allan Poe one? Any book, whether or not allowed to do so. Well, I'm glad you said that. What book would I like to see graphic novel? Oh, wow. I would love to see the work of Martin Caidin become comic books. Martin Caidin wrote the book Cyborg, and he wrote 4 books called Cyborg, and they were the model for the $6 Million Man. I love those books. Martin Caidin had a gift for, just like Michael Crichton had a gift for boiling down hard science in terms that common people can understand. Wow, what book? Yeah, my first thought, of course, is the Martin Caidin says, although I believe Marooned, which he also wrote, was not only a movie but a comic book as well. As far as what book? Wow. I got word that a friend of mine was doing a Nosferatu graphic novel today. Lucky Mark Ellis. And let's see, what else? I think some of the new pulp stories I'd like to see. I'd love to see Evolution Man as a graphic novel. I toyed with years for doing Skyman and Volcana as comic books or graphic novels. I'd like to see more stuff. Midnight Guardian by John Bruning would be great. I think it'd be fantastic. And howdy to Cindy Cap, CKOEPP.com. Please check out that website and please sign up for her great monthly newsletter. And I am computer deprived until next week. Yay for mobile. Well, sweetheart, thank you for being here. Poor Cindy's been having computer problems. I understand. I feel your pain. I was there about 4 months ago. But anyway, we're glad you're with us, Cindy. Thank you for joining me. And besides Kiss Cookie, what's the first thing you do every morning? Well, I'm done after that. But anyway, no. Let's see. Wake up, kiss Cookie, cuddle a little. I'm a cuddler. Besides kiss Cookie, what's the first thing you do every morning? Well, I actually go to the bathroom because I'm old. Actually, one of the first things I do every morning is I take my medicine. I have a couple prescriptions, and then I also I brew coffee. First thing I do, I'm so horribly addicted. I brew a pot of coffee for my honey and me. And Cindy Cap, how do you get the signal over the noise? That is a super question, and we're going to be examining that in a few weeks on this show, sometime in September. I've got a feeler out to somebody who I've been waiting for a guest for some time, and once he decides on a date, then we can schedule this show. But how do you get the signal out over the noise? One, don't stop trying to shout above the noise. Put out quality work. I think quality work will out. It will help you elevate. It'll help you rise above a lot of the static that you hear. Also, figure out not only where you should be sending your signal, but where you shouldn't be sending it out. What kind of, consider your return on the investment, except in this case, your investment is your time, even more than money. Don't be afraid to try different avenues of promotion. And I think one of the best promotions is just basically get yourself out there and be seen. Cindy, you are telegenic, as we used to say in public broadcasting. You are eloquent. You have a wonderful, bright personality. I should have you on the show more often because I'm a dolt and I don't. But I say just, put yourself out as much as possible, and and one of the key things I found to selling books is don't try to sell. Um, Let people get to know you. I don't go on other shows deliberately to promote, unlike a number of other people. Pardon me. But I go on because I want to have fun and talk to the people there. But in the process, I usually wind up selling some books. Put yourself out and get to shows. You're doing a splendid job this year, Cindy, in getting to shows. And even then, hand out cards. When people come to talk to you, smile and make jokes and compliment them. And leave them with your say, hey, thank you for your, hey, can I tell you about my books? Hey, you don't not just say, hey, that's all right. Hey, thank you for your time. Hey, please take a card, would you please? Get them cheap and hand them out like pennies. All right. And Sarah, this is my YouTube page, slowly adding channels to it. It could be ours. Well, maybe. Sarah, send me a link to my send our via our area. Send me a link to that, would you please? I'd love to see it. And hello, beautiful people. I bet that's Keisha Acuff, beautiful lady herself, who is the co-host of Cryptid Crunch with Willow Skylar. I'll get it out eventually. And also a lovely lady in her own regard, and sponsor of Michaela's Tidbits and Scribbles. Very cool. And Sarah, Michaela, fixed coffee is probably the answer other than peeing. No, I have to pee first because we run water for coffee, and I'm old. And good evening, Teresa Dunn. Teresa, I hope you're feeling better. Poor Teresa's feeling the heat, as it were. It's a little bit hot in Keokuk tonight. And Sarah, hello there. Michaela, love you, lady. And what is your favorite adaptation of Frankenstein? Asks Rick Bradley. Oh, wow. Fantastic question. Thank you, Rick. I make no bones about Frankenstein is probably my favorite book. It was the first real book I ever read when I was in third grade. As opposed to like Dick and Jane and things like that. Favorite adaptation. Wow. Okay. I remember which one it was. In the late 70s, I think it was. Marvel Comics put out an adaptation of the Mary Shelley novel. Originally drawn by Mike Plug, who was the original artist on Werewolf by Night, a former assistant to Will Eisner. And the thing was written by the late Gary Friedrich, who helped create Ghost Rider and was a longtime writer on Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos and several other great Marvel comics. And that was probably my favorite because it was actually, except for the look of the monster, which was owed more to the 1931 Universal version than the later than the novel. It was extremely faithful and well done. And later, John Buscema and John Verpoorten took over the art, and it still was beautiful. It still was fantastic. So that's probably my favorite one. And I believe you can find those stories in the Marvel show, some of the Marvel black and white books, the big, the omnibus types, or not omnibus, but, the smaller ones, usually black and white, about 500 pages or so. Definitely, if you haven't read that, definitely pick it up. I think you'll be impressed. Your favorite tool for trying to get your signal over the noise? This. In all seriousness, broadcasting has been very helpful to me in a lot of ways because, one, I have a bully platform for what I do. It fires me up. I get to hang around with you guys. You have no idea how much that helps me some days. And so, I would say the broadcasting is probably it. Plus, I do enjoy it, but despite what I said earlier, the times I don't want to be here are far outweighed by the times I do. So yeah, this is, I find this fun. And also it's a good way to get my message out. Patreon is also turning out. Now, I know that sometimes Patreon is a crapshoot and it's modest gains, but you have to start somewhere, and it's a good way, as long as you, like you are doing, bringing value to your page. That keeps people interested. I love being on your page. And under the weather, just wanted to pop in and watch. Well, Teresa, we're glad you're here, sweetheart. And speaking of sweethearts, there's Willow Skylar. Mwah, good evening, rather. I'm so used to seeing you in the morning. Willow usually starts the day with a message promoting us and the Hanging with Web Show Network and behind the back of the cereal box networks. And we're glad you're here. Good evening to you, Willow. I hope you're doing well. And what should a website have? What it should have is Damian Waldron designing it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely contact Damian because he did a wonderful job on mine. If you go see that, it is a thing of beauty. But basically, I think, of course, it's going to differ for everyone, but I'm going to talk from the perspective of what I do. It should have a good front page. It should have a landing page where people can sign up for your newsletter. It should have give people a look at what you do. You know, I write books, and Damian has put up a site that you can not only look at the front covers, you can also look at some of the reviews they've gotten, and you also can order directly from Amazon usually. Also, he has, like in my case, since I'm also a broadcaster, he has my broadcasts up on there too. And what else? And maybe if you wanted to put a bio page up there, that would be good. But yeah, definitely I think contact with you, a way to gather names for a mailing list, a page that says, hello, welcome, I'm glad you're here. And links to your works and how to purchase them, I think, are all essential to that. After that, it's kind of like your choice, you know. And from the desk of the Small Press Publisher, also on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network every Saturday night at 10 p.m. And he's awesome. Love you, Joe D. McPhee. And really, ask you anything. When was the last compliment you received for your writing? Wow. Oh, I'm trying to remember. And it's not that I don't get them. It's, you know, God, I'm trying to think. You know, I'm trying to think of a specific case because it's not that the compliments don't register. They really do. But, you know, I frequently get, I'm not trying to be evasive. I'm, you know, just trying to remember a specific last time I got complimented on a book. It's happened fairly recently. But, you know, I do a lot of shows and I get compliments for my books. So I guess I can't really answer this one adequately, except to say I do get a lot of compliments. I'm very happy for that. And everyone, hello. And Sarah, good to see you on the fun side of the net. Yeah. And she feels safe here as well. This should be. Rick Bradley, what is the airspeed of an unladen swallow? Are we talking African swallow or any other kind of swallow? And anyway, working on for Prose 2 if they ever get out Frank 2, says Lou Motion. Yeah, I've got a couple short stories and a novel still in place with them. Right now, Tommy is trying to get through the stuff that came in before ours. So, plus there's some stuff coming up I can't talk about, but keep an eye on Prose. I think you're going to be happy, Lou. I think I like the plans. And anyway, it's wonderful to be back. Thank you. Well, Sarah, it's always a pleasure to have you here. And what marketing ploy works best for you and worst for you? Worst for me. I'll start with the worst one because that's fairly easy, and it's something I used to recommend because it used to work. And that is sitting down at your computer, planting your backside firmly on that cushion, and I would have my pitch, like a one-line pitch for my book, along with the web address, usually Amazon. I'd have it in a Word document. Copy, paste. Find the page where I want to promote. Say it's my profile page. You know, paste in there, hit enter. Go to Rising Tide Publications page, paste, enter. Then go to another place about books, paste, enter. Then I would do something else for a while, like answer, reply to an email, or watch a video on YouTube, or something that kills a little bit of time and fools the algorithms. Then do the same thing again about 3 or 4 times, except now I'm moving on to friends pages. And, 3 or 4 times, just, a little distraction for about 5 minutes, wash, rinse, repeat. And I did this all day one time for Skyman, not long after it was released. And I managed to get that. The book that day was like around 4,000 in its best category. I got it down to 35 by the end of how long was this? It was about 12 hours of doing this. There are a lot of pages for, in this case, it was comic books, Golden Age, novels, heroic novels, historical novels, pulp. I was everywhere. And there are even some pages that just say promote your stuff, pimp your work. That's, pimp your books. That is several pages are named that. And I did this for about 12 hours. And then after I stopped getting that rest period, because I wanted to get through my list of pages, and I had about 1,000 of them. That was my first experience of Facebook jail. I was not allowed to post anything for anything with a web link on it for a week. Okay. So when I talk to you guys about taking cigarettes to Facebook jail, I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the algorithms have changed to where that's spamming now. And I would be in Facebook jail forever if I tried to do that today. Plus, Facebook also represses, or suppresses, I should say, the any link that leads you someplace other than Facebook. So I couldn't send people to Amazon easily. Like it cut down. I did a test of it I did some testing one day with notices for this show. Not this show, but it was never mind. Furthermore, where I put in links to my Amazon work, and I saw that my views dropped to a tenth of what they were. But when I stopped doing it, they were back to normal. So now the best marketing ploy is basically showing up at a show in a Fez or on a program and talking about writing and how much I love it and how much I treasure the people that are in the journey with me. It's just, that does, I think the enthusiasm that people see in you is what draws them to your work. So, that's what works the best. Now, Michaela J says, do you have a show or an event you'd like to attend as a vendor? Because someone in particular will be there. I want to be at QuadCon because you and Cindy are there. Serious. I'm not joking when I say that. I wouldn't mind setting up a C2E2 again for the same reason. I've got a number of friends that set up there. Jody McPhee will be there. I want to hang with him, dude. So, yeah, probably the QuadCons and C2E2. And Zara Zim, we love him, don't we? Such a great guy. We do. And yes, Lou Motion, could you be more specific about a 5-year plan? Ryan Permison, on your darkest day or hour, what book gives you hope? Probably the Bible. There's a lot of great stories, whether you believe it or not. There's a lot of great stories in there and a lot of happy endings. So, and it's a book that's got everything. It's got romance. It's got a little bit of erotica in there. Tell me I'm wrong. Songs of Solomon. Tell me I'm wrong. It's got adventure. It's got epic adventure. It's got superheroics. It's got people coming up from the dead. And we're not making this religious now. But, and we won't read any comments that are the same one way or the other. But I would say the Bible, because there's a lot in there, a lot of wisdom. Also, the works of Les Brown are really good. Because look up Les Brown on Wikipedia. That man's got a hell of a story, and he's come a long way from there. From the National Small Press Publisher, has there been any project that you wish you took on more time to develop or regretted that you did due to your lack of faith in it? Oh, that's a good question, Joe. I've had a couple. I got involved in an anthology. This would have been about 2 years ago. Or actually, it's about 2 years ago. Almost 3. Not going to say who it's with, but let's just say I did a real long video about it with some friends, some good friends. But it was, no, I take it back. Terraform Comics was, it's not that I had a lack of faith in it. I wish I'd stayed longer to try to right the ship. I wish things had not happened as they did. So I guess Terraform Comics is a project I wish I had taken more time to develop rather than quit when I did. And when I regret due to my lack of faith in it. And it was something by one of the people involved, I will say, and it was an omnibus book that frankly it was okay, but I got I don't regret that we were in it, but it's there's just a lot of things going on with it that I didn't care for at the time. But I will put out a good version of our story later, won't I, though? And no plan survives first contact with reality. None of mine do, Cindy. That's where I stay, where I am. And good evening to you, Joe D. McPhee. Thank you for being here. And how close are you to finishing your current editing job? How long does it usually take? Or is that a case-by-case basis? Yeah, definitely case-by-case. This one is taking, I estimate it's going to take me another 5 days. I got an extension on it, thank goodness. Thank you, Tommy. But I've never undertaken an edit like this before, except with my own work. My own work goes pretty quickly because I fix my mistakes as I go. This is a little challenging because it's somebody else's script, but I can't really bring myself to change the writing style. And it's different than mine. So I have to keep that in mind as I edit. So I'm just looking for continuity, spelling, and punctuation errors for the most part. I fixed a little bit of the formatting already. But yeah, it depends on how many pages the project is. I've got a comic book script I'm going to work on tomorrow for someone. I worked on an essay today for someone that didn't take much time. And it also depends on how in-depth someone wants me to go. If they want me to go drill down as far as I can, this thing's going to take a long time, rather than something where I can read it and give like overarching suggestions to improve the work. So, and Surf or Turf as that's from Small Press Publisher. Gosh, I love seafood. I really do love seafood. If I were to give up beef for that, if I were to give up steak for that, it'd probably be something like, mussels or shrimp or good cod or tilapia. Or even a really good catfish. So I think I like surf a little better, but just marginally, okay? And does liquor go bad? Maybe I should ask Carl and Donna that. What says Joe Dog? Well, I actually did have one that did go bad, but it was mostly because I added crap to it. Jeff Smith on the Frugal Gourmet long ago, this is about this is a little over 30 years ago, he told how he made kind of like a poor man's Kahlua, and I love Kahlua. And it involved like cheap whiskey. He said, don't spend a lot on it. And I didn't, believe me. It was practically white label with a brown stripe around it. Just said whiskey. But then you put in a couple of vanilla beans and some instant coffee and mix it up. And let it sit for about a week or so. And, but the thing was, it didn't taste like Kahlua. And it certainly didn't taste like whiskey, good or otherwise. The only thing I was good for was cleaning out the pipes in my sink. What is your go-to place to get creative energy when you feel down or uncreative? Aside from hanging around with you guys, book shows, almost always do it for me. I feel like I can, I could write the next great American novel. Otherwise, I like going to coffee shops. I love hanging out at the library, all the accumulated wisdom and entertainment of the ages. I like that. Otherwise, I like the one positive thing about my travels is long drives. I have time to get inside my head and scrape out some of the debris, and I just start feeling a little more creative then. So, and Brian Nance, good to see you. I think I missed you at KokomoCon the other day, sir. Hope you're having a good night. And you go online and do the shows because that's what heroes do. Put on the cape. I keep my commitments, man. And I make a lot. I don't try to make promises I can't keep. And, and I feel part of being an ethical broadcaster is making my appointments whenever I am able to. So when I tell you I'm going to be on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Never Mind the Furthermore, I will be there. So, and some does go bad, Joe. I thought so. How do you determine which social media is worthy of the effort to put into it? Unfortunately, it's not readily available, or not readily apparent, I should say. Now I have done some shows that, after a while, I'm asking, why am I here? I've never had a bad show with Devote, any of the Devote shows I've been on. Randy treats me like a visiting god. It's wonderful. Ryan has treated me well. Everyone here that has had me on their shows, I've had a glorious time. And I think it's been good for me. But I did have one show one time where the interviewer was drunk and he passed out while he was interviewing me. And that's why I decided I'm not coming back to this one. Mostly for the crap I got from my friends who did watch this debacle. And no, you can't find it. He took it down, darn it. I wanted to get a copy of it as blackmail. But yeah, basically, one, do I have fun doing it? That's the first part of it. Do I have fun doing it? Is it an imposition on me or Cookie? I have turned down things because, like right now, I've got to take her to physical therapy for her elbow. That is number one. And so, we do what we can to find out what is most effective for us. And sometimes it may take 2 or 3 tries, but I think having fun is the first one, because if you have fun, it shows and people will like that. And that could lead them to picking up your work, or at least checking it out. So Lou Motion, not a big fan, Yes fan until Owner of a Broken Heart. I was a fan since I heard Roundabout first. The Yes album I owned. I don't know a time in my life I haven't owned a copy of the Yes album, whether it's vinyl or CD. And what's your better than sex go-to dessert food? Ooh, Michaela. Oh, wow. There are so many. Wow. Tiramisu. Well-made tiramisu. I love tiramisu. That stuff, it is sweet, it is sticky, it is everything a person should not have in their cardiovascular system, but there it is. I'm loving it. I love tiramisu. And I've only really had one inferior tiramisu ever in my life, and it was fairly recently, but it was still pretty good. And like sex, it's like good sex is great and bad sex is still pretty good. For the National Small Press Publisher, why do people believe in faking it till you making it, playing off being bigger than they are instead of working hard to achieving goals? A philosophical question. Well, Joe, that's an excellent question. I think to a certain degree we can fake it till we make it in as far as, I think for the most part, people want to see you succeed, because a lot of people say, or thinking, even if subconsciously, there, but for the grace of God, go I could do that too. I think it's when somebody starts acting like everything is like you take baths in champagne and you have caviar on your oatmeal, and you get rid of your Rolls Royce because the current one has the ashtray full. That's when you're actively lying to people. And I don't think that's very cool at all. But on the other hand, I don't think people want to see you fail, and I don't think they want to see you failing. So I might sound a little like I'm a little better off than I am, but not by much. I'm candid. You ask me, do I make enough? I can't afford government cheese most months with what I make on writing at this moment. But everything I'm doing right now is bringing me closer to the time that I will. And I can't bring Cookie home right now, but I'm getting closer every damn day. We did things today that I think in the next few months are going to really boost things up in a lot of my creative areas, which I also have to take into account as broadcasting now too. But I think working hard is the greatest component there. I don't think it is either or. I think if you are, well, take Stan Lee, for instance. He always made it out that, Marvel is the greatest company ever. I've got the greatest artists working for me. We are number one. And he was saying this at a time when the sales weren't backing him up on it. We are the number one company. We are the best company out there. That's impossible to quantify because it's so subjective. But he was putting a little bit of showbiz. There's a little bit of showbiz in what we do to promote ourselves, and we are every bit the product as what we produce. So I don't think it's an either or question. I think when you combine the two with the latter with a little bit of the former, I think that's good for you. And sometimes it's good for you too, because it kind of like, we see the guy behind the curtain. We see behind the smoke and mirrors, and that can get you down. But sometimes it can also cheer you up if you just like, hey, I can afford this Big Mac. I'm rocking it. I am rolling it. I can buy 2 comic books this week just because. But I hope that answers your question, Joe. And that's a great question. I'd love to discuss that with you in depth sometime. Brian Robbins says, Brian, we are so thankful for you, my friend. Thank you, my man. It goes both ways, brother. I've said it many times, but never mind. The furthermore saved my sanity last year. And I'm so glad it did, because what a wonderful friendship I've gained in you and so many others here. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have found my tribe. Oh, man, you don't know how long, Brian, you don't know how long it took me to find you and to find the rest of my tribe. And the thing is, the tribe changes. There's, a few people in this tribe that, we have separated, and it happens. We all evolve in different directions, but it doesn't mean I love them any less. And sometimes you have to eject people because, sometimes they start out with the best intentions and then toxicity takes over. I'm sure most of us can tell you, especially these days, toxicity is real, and it's tough to keep it out of your system sometimes. I know I have trouble with it, but I am so grateful for you and the Nevermorians, the whole Rising Tide tribe. There's stuff that has happened recently that I couldn't have done without your support. I'll put it that way. It gave me the impetus and the courage to do some difficult decisions, make some difficult decisions. And I think all is good. And 2 down, 1 to go, another town and one more show. Yeah, that's right, Cindy. I thought for a minute you meant hours. It's like, have I been talking that long, dear Lord? Scared me. And from this small press publisher, how do you constantly balance promoting your wares while working on new stuff? How do you keep the promotion where you can always bring it back to your current project? Hashtag always promote. That's why, it helps to have things planned out in advance, such as asking for reviews, which you can do when you buy Amazon book reviews made less than possible, a reader's guide to rewarding authors, available on Amazon and Smashwords, including a handy template for writing honest, quick reviews. So always have your wrap ready. Always have be able to talk about your work, like Santa Stein, the post-holiday Prometheus, available on Amazon and Smashwords, where Dr. Frankenstein has a cure for his fiance's holiday blues. What could possibly go wrong? I spent 180 pages telling you. Pick it up today. Promotion, unfortunately, in its various forms, and like I said, this includes studying promotion, which is a problem because somebody keeps moving the damn goalposts, if you know what I mean. So you gotta. I'm not trying to get ahead of I've given up being ahead of the algorithms. I just want to be within eye shot of them. That's all anymore. But the studying, the research, that takes a lot of time. And some days I do more of that than I do actual work. But if nothing else, because of what I do, I can do a lot of it in my head so that I know my next couple of projects and I'm looking forward to getting to them. I've got editing on this, an edit for myself for another on my work before I submit it to another publisher, plus 2 pitches I want to make, and that's not including Aquatic and Volcana, and Cookie's Gonna Kill Me. Plus, I have another book that I've been asked to do for another publisher, and I want to do it real bad. Anyway, so yeah, it's a constant balancing thing, and if I didn't have a couple of like cool video game. I don't play video games per se. I have a couple of little distractions I have. Injustice 2 has claimed my soul on my iPad, and I've got a really cool jigsaw puzzle game that I like. And if it weren't for that and the damn YouTube videos, I'd probably have about 50 books out every week. But anyway, you got to let your mind go elsewhere and get some relaxation. So yeah, but you've got to keep your eye on the prize, Joe, and that will help you keep the right proportion to your promotion and to your creation, and you have to recognize, I think, that everything is part of the job. This is, even though I love this job, it is a job, and I've still got to. I gotta do it all, whether I like it or I want to or not. And how do you know if you can trust other broadcasters from sabotaging you, says Teresa Dunn? Well, my problem is I haven't had it often. There have been examples of a couple of broadcasters who have either actively or inactively tried to sabotage me. One was the aforementioned person that was drunk who interviewed me. I don't think he intended to sabotage me, but yeah, we've got somebody, we've got some people who heckle, and I mean, like, they're trolls on some of the shows. But you just have to wait for them to basically show their true nature, or to evolve into the kind of nature that makes betrayal inevitable, and then unfortunately you have to deal with it, and it's not easy, and it's not always, it's never pleasant, because on some, you have become a friend, or you've considered them a friend. So I think for the most part, everyone I've met in the broadcasting world has been wonderful to me. Each and every one, with a few exceptions. And they are in such a minority that I'm on my way of pushing them out of my mind, So I don't really worry about that. I just know that the people in the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, I've seen it from this weekend. They didn't have to have my back, but they did. Because like I said, I had to make a very difficult decision this weekend. And there you go, MacArthur Park in the driving snow. Hey, who left the cake out in the rain? That's what I want to know. And let's go back. We had another comment dump. Wow, there's some cool people here. I can't wait to catch up. Sorry I'm so long-winded, people. It balances me out to be at each show you do. Sarah, sweetheart, I love having you here. And I'm going to make our reservations. I've got a plan for our reservations. Sarah's going to be joining me and Cookie for the SI Comic-Con. Will be in the middle of September in Benton, Illinois. We'll have more information, but there's an event page on Facebook for it. It's going to be a good time. The first one was 2 years ago, and it was a fantastic show. Exceeded everyone's expectations, and I'm expecting no less this time too, Matt and Katie Wayman. Anyway, but it'll be great having Sarah with us. If you want to meet Sarah, please come see us at the show. It will be a good time, and buy a lot of my books, and so you can see Sarah some more. And have you ever done anything that you knew was going to? Joe Dog McKeel asks, have you ever done anything that you knew going in would be massively stupid, and it turned out to be especially awesome? Oh my God. We've only got, I think this, just answering that question is going to break the previous 4 hours and 59-minute limit on this show. Wow. The thing was, the closest I did was probably Santa's Sign was it. I thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. I should be writing something to genre. I should find out what the top genre is and write something like that and make a splash immediately. But instead, I followed my muse, and I say follow my muse. I actually went out, like Jack London said, I went out into the woods with a club and brought her back by her hair like a caveman. Santa's Stein should not have succeeded. It was a parody book of a novel that has been satirized unto death, literally, and no hope of resuscitation. And not only that, but I marketed it as a holiday book, and I released it in March. So I thought, man, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Hopefully I can mitigate the catastrophe to follow. And that book has done nothing but been loving to me. It has been so, it's like that old joke from Saturday Night Live. Baseball been very, very good to me. Well, Santa's Sign's been very, very good to me. And I think going in, I thought, I am doing every damn thing wrong with this book. I'm an idiot. And it taught me I'm not as big an idiot as I thought. That was good. And favorite Phil Collins song. It's just a shame, that's all. Actually, it's Genesis, but I like it. It's probably my favorite gens, that and Abacab. I love those two songs. I also like the songs Phil Collins did for the Tarzan animated film. And how does a dog stop a video? By pressing the pause button. Oh my God, Cindy, how can I be depressed with you around? You're amazing. And what is your favorite coffee flavor? Oh, this is easy. This is so easy. My favorite coffee flavor is Michigan Cherry. I love Michigan Cherry. Ted Davies sent me a bag of Michigan Cherry that I have been savoring for since I got it in the house, and it's been delight. I was like, I need more. I need more. I may have to go visit him to just to get some real Michigan Cherry. But that's my favorite. My second favorite is probably Sumatra. Which is a dark roast African bean. Kenya AA is very much like it. I think those are my favorites right there. And I love the truck stops now that have it where they grind the beans right in front of you and they make it in the machine. That is the best thing ever. Sarah, how do you think schools would handle a pandemic before online classes could be used? It depends on the part of the country. We're going through that right now in Tippecanoe County in Indiana, where there's the teacher. I think most of the teachers want masks. They want in-person stuff. And I'm not speaking for all of them, just most of the ones that I know. I think they want kids in the classroom. There's just something so impersonal about the computer for a teaching situation that I think schools, if anything, have handled it better than a lot of other entities. So we ought to be following the schools and the scientists. How does it feel being the Mr. Rogers of the internet? That's Ryan Permison, a.k.a. the nicest guy on the internet. I am not the nicest guy. I really am not. Brian Rodman is wonderful. Cindy Kep is a freaking angel. Eric Hawkins, anyway, no, seriously, I love Eric. I don't know that I'm a nice guy. I'm like the 12th Doctor. Am I a good man? I try to think I am, or I try to act like, well, I want to think I am. I don't know that I'm nice. I try to be nice. But like the doctor says, always try to be nice and never fail to be kind. So that's kind of where I stand. But thank you very, very much for the compliment. And Historical Fencing Guild, is it possible to catch trends as they start, but sometimes you are ahead of the pattern? But what do you think are big things coming down the pipe? Big things coming down the pike for, I'm going to say books, comics. I think we're going to start seeing more done in one stuff. Right now, I see a lot of comic books that are being done as if they are from the big two, which on the whole is not a horrible thing. There's a level of professionalism that I think more independent publishers should aspire to. But now they're getting into a thing where you buy a story, you're only buying 1/4 or 1/6 of it. Now if they announce it beforehand, that's fine. Okay, I know I'm in for 4 issues. But then a lot of them don't come out. I know Cindy Kep is going to bring out the other 5 issues of Animal Eye because I know her. And I know she's honest and she's wonderful and amazing and super, super talented. Please get that book from bearpublications.com. It is an amazing comic book. You will love it. It's so good. It gets better every time I read it. But I think it's going to be happen. I think it should happen more in independent comics is done in one stories, more high quality anthologies like Indie Volt Revolt. Some stuff I'm seeing from Indie Volt, I am so excited by. It makes me happy. It makes me happy to see Brian Rodman's stuff, Eric Hawkins' material, even plans they have for future publications. So I think there's going to be a higher level of quality coming in the future. Books, I see more shorter books coming down the way, more like chap books and stuff, maybe even. But as far as genre trends, I think are going to continue for a while, but I think the biggest trend will be people, hopefully, writing what they want to read. I still see too many people saying, well, I'm going to write this genre because I know it sells. That's a bad way to start your career, but I think quality is I think people are going to have take a closer eye on quality and make sure their work is as good as it can be before it goes out. And niche down until you're the obvious choice for that mini niche. What is your mini niche? Wow, that's great, Cindy. I love it. That's a great philosophy there. Seriously. I'm thinking, based on Skyman and the Terrors, I'm thinking it could be Golden Age pulp comics. It could be my wheelhorse, or my wheelhouse rather. I think, or wheelhorse too. That's how you carry the wheelhouse around. It's a little house, on the prairie. But yeah, I'm thinking, pulp superhero may be mine. That'd be great. And Michaela Jade is off to bed. Good night, everyone. See you bright and early tomorrow morning. Mwah, Michaela Jade, love you, hun. Thank you for an incredible Saturday. And also, please check out Michaela Jade Monday nights at 7 for Tidbits and Scribbles. Check out her back catalog. She is amazing. And please subscribe to her channel. She has like 45 people behind me as far as subscribers go on YouTube. Help her pass me up. Okay, I'm telling you that now. However, if I reach 1,100 people by the end of October night, or the end of Halloween night, I will schedule a 12-hour episode of Nevermind the Furthermore with bathroom breaks and everything. Oh, I'm already starting to plan it. I really am. I've already got plans in my head for it, and I think it's going to be fun. We're going to have Randy Zimmerman on. I've already declared that. We're having Randy Zimmerman and Nick Tockert and Carl Witzman. Carl's going, what the hell are you drafting me for now? So please help us get the word out. Please help us to get to 1,100 subscribers. That'd be so kind. Michaela, mwah, dream sweetly, honey. Thank you for everything. Cindy Kep is one of the coolest and funniest people on the planet. Facts. I will not dispute that. In fact, I'll second that emotion. And everyone's saying goodnight to Michaela, trying to tuck her in and everything. And if I picked, Cindy Kep asked, if I picked up a Brian K. Morris book, what would I always find? My name prominently plastered is through it. And what would I never find? Oh, tragic ending. What would you find? As good a story as I can possibly write in that period of time. Hopefully with more skill, hopefully with more emotion, hopefully with more treats to the senses, and hopefully with more of what you want to read. And hopefully someone will get you to recommend me to others. So anyway, boom, I nailed it. Brewing, coffee, and peeing. I should have bet money on the answer. You just know it's because I'm old. And novels or short stories. Oh, wow. You know, I love writing short stories, but my heart is probably with novels. I love novels because it takes the time to explore the world, the people, the emotions, everything. So I have to give a little nudge to novels. Historical Fencing Guild, Nick Tockert says, being slightly greedy here, but I have a lot of diverse interests and efforts across 2 YouTube channels, assorted social media and sites. How can I best cross the stream to get more impact? Cross-promote yourself, for one. Don't be shy about sharing your work. Don't be shy about doing backlinks like I do. That is the one way that I've seen so far to try to get around the YouTube algorithms, or not the YouTube, but the Facebook algorithms. Backlinks work pretty well for that. It helps me more than they don't. And also cross promotion with your friends who would talk about, say, the Historical Fencing site, or the Historical Fencing Guild, every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, where Nicholas Anthony Tockert, the one, the only, teaches you all about combat and bladed weaponry, as evidenced in his 2 books on Amazon, The Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe, I think it is. Anyway, it's something about an axe. Anyway, we're running low on water here. And anyway, just cross-promote yourself, man. And, of course, we will always do everything we can to promote you, Nick, because you're the best. And happy Tuesday to you, Facebook user. Hope you're having a great night so far. Historical Fencing Guild continues. Several of my friends and associates publish under both their names and a pen name. Who can they best balance their secret identities? You have to ask Bruce Wayne that. He is a master at that stuff. In fact, he's one of the few people in the DC universe right now that still has a secret identity, right? So anyway, because Superman he busted his out. Well, it's kind of funny. I think it all depends on why, I think it depends on what you want to write. And then you find the name you want to use for it. Like, I'm too big an egomaniac for most of my work to not put my real name on. Brian K. Morris is my real name. I make no Surely if I wanted a better name, if I was picking a pseudonym, I wouldn't have picked that. I do have a pseudonym for some other stuff I want to do. And I'm doing that for reasons, but 99% of the stuff I will ever do will be under the name Brian K. Morris. So 90%, that's the balance. There are many pages and groups in one genre I write in, says Cindy Cap, that require writers to include a link to the page or group on its own page somewhere in the book. One page with all of them is not allowed. Your opinion on that? I think that sucks. I really do. I think the only website that should be in your book is yours. It should belong to you. I mean, unless they want to make a deal to take out a page of advertising in your book, which is not unheard of. Because and unless they are worth the effort, because your back matter is pretty primo real estate and should be used for promoting you. So, I think that one page with all of them is not allowed. I would say then don't put any of them in. I think, if anything, Cindy, you want people to go back to your pages, not necessarily theirs. So if that means you lose their support, well, you have to balance out whether it's worth it or not. For me, I would go without it, but I can't speak for you, Cindy, but I know you'll make the best decision. From the desk of Small Press Publisher, BKM, I'm happy you were doing this Clever Title Pending. Last time I did an Ask Me Anything on my show, no one showed. So I just talked about what others had asked me a month ago. The thing is, like I said, I've had a few emotional days lately. Nothing bad, nothing horrible. Coming out of it, but and I'm vague booking, but people know. And the thing is, I'm coming out of it, but I had this afternoon. I told Cookie I don't want to do this show. One, I was really looking forward to, even though I've known about Glenn for a couple of days, having to cancel. I was still like, man, I love talking to Glenn. I really love talking to Glenn. And like I said at the start of the show, I didn't want to push you guys into Brian couldn't book a guest again. Well, better save his bacon again. So I thought nobody would show up. There'd be 4 or 5 people. We'd say, hi, hey, does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, let's just call it then. But I'm enjoying this. I hope I'm happy doing this too, Joe. And see, thank you very much. And I appreciate you being here, man. I appreciate you a whole lot. Just as I appreciate the delightful Amy Hale. Mwah! Darling, you're not late. You're fashionably on time. We've just been vamping until you can get here. Glad you're feeling better, you and John. Give that man a hug for me, would you please? And Eric Hawkins has a question. If a train is going 50 miles an hour and travels for 36 minutes, how many miles has the train gone? Let's see, 50 miles an hour, divided 36. Oh, man, that's a lot. Whew. Oh my God. I give up, Eric. What was it? And Joe Dog McKeel, 25-ish miles, says Eric Hawkins. Believe it or not, that's what I was thinking. My favorite joke. Oh, wow. Oh. Okay. I've got several, but most of them are so... I love the Shaggy Dog story. I will tell one. I will tell as quick a one as I can. There's one I heard from Morecambe and Wise years ago that is just a little bit on the risque side, so I will not tell it. It's not bad. I think even you, Cindy, would enjoy it, but it's a little risque, and I'm not going to risk it. But there's another one. There was okay, no, I know one. It's one I stole from Hill Street Blues, an old episode of Hill Street Blues. Jim and Jack were 2 of the best friends ever, and they loved baseball. And they managed to achieve their dream and became professional baseball players. Well, one day Jim died of a heart attack, and Jack was distraught. He was broken and cried at the funeral and was at his home and mourned his dear friend. And one day, the ghost of Jim appeared and said, Jack, listen, I got to talk to you. And Jim's like, oh my God, are you really him? And he goes, yes, it's really me. And I've got some news for you. I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. And Jim was like, well, give me the good news first. And goes, and Jim or Jack goes, give me the good news first. And Jim goes, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. And you know what heaven is? Heaven is this giant baseball stadium, and the angels fill the stands and cheer for us ever so loudly, and we play Satan and the devil. We play Satan and his demons every day, and God is our coach. And every day we fight hard. The game is rough, and we give it our all. But every day we win. And this weather is always beautiful, and the hot dogs are hot and fully packed, and the beer is always cold. It is just the perfect existence. And Jack goes, "Wow, this is amazing. That sounds great. But what's the bad news?" And Jim goes, "You're pitching this Tuesday." Anyway, and do you do crafty stuff of any sort? All the stuff I do is crafty. I'm really sneaky. No, haven't had much time for it lately, but believe it or not, the thing I love to do, and I can't reach for it right now. I have to bring it because I've got it attached to the wall. Perler beads. I love doing perler beads. I have, in fact, a 11th Doctor up on the wall. I made it several years ago. But no, I love making perler beads. For those of you who don't know, perlers are these little hollow cylinders. And they're open at both ends, and you put them on this little pattern, and you can create things. And you just put a piece of parchment paper over, then you iron them real quick and let them cool, and they mold to each other. I wish I could pick up this. Wish I had another camera. One of these times I'll take a picture of it. But I have the 11th Doctor, and I want to make a series of all the Doctors one of these days. But I just haven't had time to work with my perlers in a couple of years. I also liked making dioramas, which were I would take a usually comic book cover and photocopy it ad infinitum, and then cut out certain areas and paste them on top to each other to create a kind of mock 3D effect. And I always had a lot of fun doing that. Haven't done one in about 20 years, I think. Because that just takes up a lot more time than I want to give up. I also love crafting stories, and that's what I've given my heart to. And Cindy Cap wants to know, how's Cookie's recovery going? I love telling you about that. I am so freaking proud of her. No, I didn't say that word. I am so proud of her. For those of you who don't know, Cookie broke a bone in her elbow about 3 weeks ago now at work. She has been out of her cast for almost 2 weeks now. And her healing is coming along magnificently. The swelling, except in one portion around where the break occurred, is the swelling is gone. Her PT, her physical therapist, is amazed. Cookie has she has various tests she has to do, like this, and touching her own shoulders. And there's some sort of exercise where she takes there's this box with a bar across the end of it, and a bar that goes upwards, and she has to take these weighted clothespins with her bad hand and put them up there. There's about 6 of them. She puts them up on this vertical pole, and then she has to take them down, but drop them behind her back and catch it with her good hand. And every time she goes in, she amazes her physical therapist. And what we're looking at now is I believe she goes back on the 7th of September. And at that time, they are going to assess whether she starts strength training again to regain the strength she has in her hand. Although the other day, don't tell anyone, she actually drove the car. When we were at Kokomo, I was packing everything up because I have 2 hands and I can use them both. And I've got legs and I know how to use them. But anyway, she's like, well, let's pull up the car. And I'm like, well, I'm busy doing this. Do you think you can do it? And she's like, let's give it a shot. So she drove, because you have to use your left hand for the signals and all the other stuff on the left-hand side of the car. She got the car to where it needed to be. So I'm proud of her. I am so proud. She is healing rapidly. And she can't wait to get back to work, because otherwise she's hanging around me all day. Anyway, do super soft throw pillows make good comfort after PT? Joe Dog, that's true. Joe Dog, Cookie loves you. Cookie is probably going to hug the hell out of you when she sees you. That StreamYard pillow is the most comfortable pillow ever, and she sleeps with it. It has protected her arm low all these weeks, helped her keep it elevated and soft and gentle and all right. And coffee mug or teacup, coffee mug for sure. Ain't no second way about it. I loves me my coffee and I loves a lot of it. And good evening to Grant Lankard. Good to see him, my man. Grant Lankard. Check out monarchpublishing.com because he's got a book here I need to take downstairs and I need to really read it. Where did I put it? Anyway. Oh, I'm so disorganized. Anyway. Let's see. I still am taking down the comics I had from last week's comic book spectrum. God help me. But anyway, no, check out Beowulf. It's a good looking read here. I gotta sit down and really pour over. And again, I meant to thank you so much, Grant, for putting me in both issues. I am so grateful, and I apologize for missing most of the show. Hey, you can catch the first the first 3 quarters of it elsewhere. And I apologize, says Amy Hale, if I repeat questions that have already been asked. What is your next event? Well, you can always ask me that because I'd be glad to tell you that. I will be with you at BurgCon, the return of BurgCon at 540 North Commercial, the Bonin Center there. Plenty of free parking, and I believe the admission to the show is free. It's going to be a fantastic affair, and we've got some great artists like Joe Dodds. We've got Kyle Starks, the writer of many great series, including the Rick and Morty comic book. All right, really great writer. Also we've got the incredible Amy Hale will be showing up along with the also incredible Kathy Jackson. The premiere at BurgCon as a professional writer of Rick Bradley, also myself, and we also will be and other artists and writers that you will love meeting, and also my partners on Comic Book Spectrum, namely Brian Rodman, Clyde Hall, and Eric S. Hawkins will be joining us there, and we will make some sort of broadcast there. Now, whether we'll be able to broadcast it live or we'll tape it and play it later, it remains to be seen. So anyway, it's going to depend on the Wi-Fi signal in that place. Anyway, please come see us. We look forward to having you, and I will have brand new books. In fact, I think I'm going to be getting a fresh shipment of some Pulp Reality 1 and 2, and I've got a reorder in for another book I'm running low on. So please come see us. We would love to have you there. And hey, Grant, says Sarah, up, down there, digging it out. Better lay your claim. Yes, you bet. And hope your evening is going great. Well, everybody, I'm having a good evening. And Grant, if you were being awesome, never apologize. That's right, never apologize for being awesome. I saw some dork in a fez say that one time. Sarah, and yes, and thank you so much for the great work. Work can't express how much it means. Anyway, let's see. Here we go. Okay, we had a super. There we go. Carl Witzman says, Grant, if you were being awesome, never apologize. That's right. That's the theme of the show, right? And going great during the show. I hope you're doing great. And Grant Lankard is eating Mexican food and being awesome. There we go. He's multitasking. I wonder if Teresa meant somebody else specifically. I don't know. We grow stronger through the thick and thin. # rising tide. Exactly. And I'm glad I'm a part of it. I really am. And what do you think of right to market? I think it's a terrible idea. I really do. Especially for new writers. Because it takes time to create something. By the time you recognize that it's a thing, and the time you get your work out, unless you can type like 2 million words a minute, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. You're chasing the trend. Never chase the trend. # become the trend. All right. I didn't get, this sounds terrible, but I didn't get to where I am, such as it is, rather. Unfortunately, it's only water. But I didn't get to where I am by following trends. I got where I am and have the certain notoriety I do by creating my trends, by not going with what's popular, but by going with what I can do. So never chase the trend. Do what's in your heart. Whatever your heart tells you to do, follow that. And then find your people. Eric Hawkins says, I used to love that government cheese. The butter was way too hard to spread. I know, right? That stuff was great. I had a friend, actually back in the heyday of government cheese back in the 80s, I had a friend that he got it, and his family hated cheese with a passion. And it was like this huge thing. It was almost the size of it was bigger than a shoebox, especially my shoes. But he got this thing one month and he said, "Would you like it?" And it was really terrific cheese. It was kind of like a cheddar. It was like a American cheese, more or less. And I'm like, this is great. So it probably explains my cholesterol problems until recently. But this went on for about 6 months, and suddenly the cheese started stacking up. We couldn't make enough grilled cheese back then, and I finally had told him, please be generous with somebody else for a couple of months. I can't handle it anymore. So anyway, we have the same intrigue as a court of kings. And what moment are you most like? Oh, in my private moments, Beaker. Wish I was Fozzie. Trying not to be Miss Piggy. I think unfortunately my favorite one is Oscar the Grouch. Because I think he has a better handle on reality than a lot of other Muppets. So, and Sarah says, excited to be along with you and Cookie. The journey is beginning and it's spectacular. It is a step into a far larger world, my darling. And if you enjoy it and we can work it out, we will have you back. And also, I'm not forgetting my Iowa booth babe, Teresa Dunn, because we got to get some shows going in Iowa too. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how this works out for all three of us. Okay. And stop being humble, Brian. You're a sweetheart. Well, I try. I keep kidding you about what a pain in the butt I am to write with, but I try. I do try to be the best person I can be. And if we gathered everyone your efforts have positively affected in one place, how big a stadium would we need? I might never know. It's the thing. The thing is, if I could just get a large dining room full of people that I have helped, I think I'm good with it. And I see that I have. And I try to, like I say, I keep trying to grow the pie. It's hard for me to assess the value I have right now because I'm always looking forward and constantly surprising myself with things that I find I can do to help others, and how much easier it gets as time goes on to not think of myself, to make it selfless and to say, well, what can I do that helps other people? And I find myself asking that more often than not. So if nothing else, I've affected myself, and that's a good thing. So, and I hope I have done something good for you, Cindy. I really do. I hope I've done something good for a lot of you. And get home. You're not alone. You just broke out of the danger zone. Cindy's got her 80s going on. I like this. And if you could have coffee with anyone living or dead, who would it be? I'll make it both. Living. Oh, wow. I would just love to sit and talk to, who is it? Neil deGrasse Tyson. Just listen to the guy. I would just sit, I'd pay, or him or Samuel L. Jackson. There is just something so incredibly intelligent and honest about those two that I think it would be fascinating. John Barrowman would be number 3, despite the fact that he's on the outs right now. Dead would be my mother. And this is going to sound corny, but I want her to see how things have come. When she passed away, she knew I just come out of a very bad romantic affair. She knew I was dating Cookie. She loved Cookie. Oh, she loved Cookie from first sight, or actually first bite, because Cookie bribed her with some potato bread. But I had several other things going on in my life that were not wonderful. And I want her to see that 30 years later, it all worked out and it's better. And I've got and one thing I mentioned the other day, and I've said it to several people, including over this weekend, I found some of her writing. Mom could write a story. I know where I got it from now. And I found some stuff when we were moving. It's very short stories. It's not enough to fill a book, but I'll be damned if it doesn't get printed before I'm in the ground. And it's the least she can do. The same immortality I've got, that through Amazon and all the book sellers. I'm never going out of print, and if I have my way, she won't either. Anyway, Sarah, oh, you're an awesomely nice guy and a lot of fun to talk about. Thank you, Sarah. You're pretty terrific yourself, and don't let anybody tell you any differently. And what 12-hour show has Carl Witzman? Carl, you just have to be with me for only 11 hours and 45 minutes of me, man. You don't know how much I need you, man. And Facebook wouldn't let me send you over an invite to Animal Eye, but I tagged it here, so come on over. Thank you, Cindy Cap. I will do that. And Blush, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, seriously, I agree with Ryan. Cindy, you're amazing, and I'd volunteer for that. Donna, Carly, Carlene, you are on. We'll put out the word when it happens. Let's be positive. And last time I looked, I had 580 some subscribers. I'm not sure what I have at this. Well, I could look. Let's see. Actually, last time I looked, I had 589 subscribers. I've just refreshed the page. I doubt it's gone up. Yeah, we're still at 589. Only another, let's see, 11 times 600. Wow, never thought of that till now. 511 more subscribers. And if we hit that before New Year, or not New Year's, but before the end of Halloween night, I will do that 12-hour show. Okay. And what can folks do that would help their writer pals get the signal above the noise? Wow. Support each other, because when I talk about you, I'm introducing you to a whole bunch of my friends that may not have heard of you yet. And when you do the same for me, you're introducing me to your friends. And she's like, oh, I can't have that. Anyway, I think the strongest thing is get your tribe and talk about each other. That's helped Rising Tide Broadcast Network. I was looking at some of us. We got some. It's like Michaela's on fire right now. I'm doing very well. Thank you, everyone. Joe Dog and Joe D have both crossed the 100 subscriber mark recently since signing up with our group. Amy Hale was at 400 last I saw. I don't remember what Ted Davies is, but he's got a crap ton of really wonderful subscribers too. I shouldn't say crap ton in that regard, but yeah, we're growing, and I think it's because we're helping each other. Heather Ellen, I hope we're doing some good for her, and Dan Hollifield. I mean, we got to bring them all up, right? And Carl Whistle says, you can do my 12 hours, Donna. I'll take a nap. And downtown, they're giving away, but she never came back. Ha! And are you kidding? Folks like to pelt you with questions. I've noticed that. Notice how much I'm digging it, too. And you could probably take a nap during the show, Carl. I plan to. And Joe Dog McKeel, my first duty as the president of the procrastinators of many things is to write a report on our standings and new members. I will post that sometime in the future. And stuff like Joe Dog that make me smile too. And Grant Lanker, that's a good point, Donna. I could do a 12-hour show if 8 of them was the sleeping and 3 of them was me sitting around watching TV. That's it. Well, there's also some certain points that you're not going in where I got to do what I got to do. And I miss you too, Don and Carl. You crack me up, and I show up to see you. Mwah. And City Cap, there were 2 skunks, one named In and one named Out. When in was in, out was out. When in was out was in. Their mom asked Out to get in for dinner. Out came back with in immediately. Mom asked how Out came back so fast. Out said, in stinks. Oh, my favorite jokes are Cindy's. That's all there is to it. And Carl Winston says, I hope things are better now, Sarah, and we'll see you more often. And you don't have to have a guest to get a good attendance. I guess not. This is a pretty good show. I'm having fun. And my wife loves perler beads. You two can talk about it. Yeah, seriously, I haven't done them in ages, but man, I get that urge to get back to it. I really do, Joe Dog. It's very therapeutic. And did you ever see the episode of Beavis and Butthead where they build a diorama? Oh, God, it's been so long since I've watched an episode of Beavis and Butthead. Wow. I'll have to look that up online. And yes, and thank you so much for the great work. Words can't express how much it means. Back at you, sweetheart. And is the workplace paying for the broken elbow? Workers' comp will be. And there's probably lost wages and stuff. We don't know. We think it's going to happen after everything is said and done, but so far they're picking up the bill. So, and how do you decide which project is next? Next is combined with practicality. Like, do I have a deadline? Do I have something that somebody else has asked for? When it's my own projects, it's like, what am I most passionate about right now? and what is probably closest to being brought to full fruition. Probably the next big project I have will be probably the Terrors, because I'm going to enlist the aid of my Patreon people. I have a couple of surprises up my sleeve for Patreon friends. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's probably it. Whatever speaks to me at the moment. And sometimes it's an old idea may get put on the back burner, or there are practical reasons why I don't finish it. Like, I've gone through 2 iterations of Volcana 2, and now I'm on my 3rd, and it's going to be almost a page 1 rewrite. I love my opening, but after that, I take too long to get to the point. So I've got to fix that. Grant Langer says, ho, I can't criticize you for not reading my comics yet. I bought a bunch of comics at Steel City Con and haven't touched them. Dude, last week, and a couple of them are downstairs. This is my haul from last week. All right. Some of that, thank you, Sarah. And some of that is stuff I bought, such as the Green Llama Archives featuring the art of Macro Boy. Beautiful, beautiful work. I've been looking for that book for years on sale, and it was. And how do you establish a brand? Cindy, it takes time. It does take time. When I started out, I decided, and this is based on work I had done when I was a back issue comic book salesperson. When everyone else was wearing Wolverine when everyone was wearing dirty T-shirts and cutoffs, I wore long pants and clean shirt. When people were wearing, when dealers, even in books, were wearing like their favorite comic book characters, I put on a nice shirt. I try to keep similar colors. And eventually I decided I was going to wear I was going to dress like I was going to work. I did wear crew shirts for a while, then it evolved into button-down shirts with at first neckties. In fact, my first official photograph was taken at a con in Valparaiso. And darling little lady took an excellent picture of me in a suit and a tie, which I was wearing at the time. And it was one of the first ones I started wearing a fez at the insistence of my wife, because it looks distinctive, and it does. And it eventually morphed into this, I wear a bow tie here on the air, but I have a rainbow bow tie that I wear in person. So the look eventually evolved, and it's still going through evolution. You just have to work on it. You have to balance out comfort and individuality. And also part of your brand is your work. And that too takes time. But, as you find what is truly Cindy Kep, you'll grow into it. And it will be amazing, Cindy, and it'll be worth the wait. And I can't get enough comics. I'm heavily addicted to Sarah. I think someone needs an intervention. And what would Skyman have in his pockets? This is easy. He doesn't have any pockets. He has a holster, though. And he has, let's see. In one holster would be the statismatic ray. And there are some stories where he has a disintegrator gun. We will be doing more Skyman in the immediate future. And when we do, we will deal with that. We are coming up with a plot for a sequel to the Master of Steam. So keep watching. So anyway, Skyman wouldn't have anything in his pockets. Now, Alan Turner would probably have a fountain pen, a pad of paper, a handkerchief, of course, car keys, maybe a penknife, and probably eventually have a remote control from which he could probably summon the wing with it. Anyway, what Muppet is Brian's scooter? I can see that. And Sarah, I shouldn't have vague books, should have. Whoops, no, you're fine. And Grant Laker says, okay, I read a ton of comics too, Sarah, but I still have a pile of comics I haven't read yet. Welcome to my world. And of course, can't wait to step into the new world. Can't wait to bring you with me. And you've done a couple vintage characters in Pulp Fiction. Which one is next? A new one you will create? Another vintage one? Well, Doc Saga is kind of like a vintage character of sorts. He's very much based on Doc Savage and The Green Llama. Both excellent books. And let's see, vintage car. I'm really in love with the setting I've created for the Terrors. I'm thinking I'll probably be revisiting that one because I want to play more with Garrett Daniels, because he's got a backstory that we have only, if you know who he is, you'll know part of the backstory. But I just think there's such a great chemistry with those two that I didn't plan, but it's good. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, more Skyman. I also have a book about the face that I want to write. I at least have, of course, I always thought I had one story about Skyman, and now I've got several. I also want to flesh out a story that I started and never finished called The Skyman Dies at Midnight. It'll probably be a short novel, but I got all kinds of plans, and I really, really, really want to get some comics going. I've been very bad about that. And Sarah will read them for you. I'll even read the ones you've read. Oh, Sarah, you are a true humanitarian. And be there to show your face on another dreamy day. Oh, yeah. And I could totally do a 12-hour show as long as it's me playing the Legend of Zelda game, says Rick Bradley. We'll get a shot of the back of your head for the whole 12 hours. That'd be great. And Grant Lankard says, you ever read you even read one of my comics? Yes, I have. And I want to read them both in succession now and see how the storytelling holds up from one issue to the other. And yes, it was a great read because Sarah was being talked to and not me. And the Historical Fencing Guild. So my make-up book of perler bead patterns plans something that you want me to pull. Let's talk. And what is the writing of yours that we'll see? The Terrors, Volcana 2, Volcana 3. And there's a project I interrupted work on to do this edit that I'm really excited about. And I plan to write another story in the immediate future about this character, but I can't talk about it. Curse the NDA. But so anyway, if with any luck, you'll see all of it. That's what I gotta say. And I know this guy. It's Jake Lindsay. Why I Love Jesus Illusionist Show. Love the new name, brother. What's your favorite part about Halloween time? Creativity. So many people coming up with great costumes and just going out and having fun and showing off. I think it's the creativity that gets me going. Rick Bradley says, or I could do a 12-hour TTRPG session. There we go. And Cassidy Cap goes, what is hardest, opening or closing paragraphs? Closing, I think, because generally when I start a project, I've got the opener in mind and I rarely change it. In fact, part of the page one rewrite will not include the opener because if you remember the literary trick I played in most of the Volcana 1 book, we're continuing it with the first line of the second one. I've got the line, and I've got the line down, and I've got the situation, so it's really great. And which came first, the chicken or the egg? Jake, the Bible says so. It was the chicken because God created the life first, and the rooster did, Jake. Thank you, Joe Dog. That's true. The chicken came first. The rooster came first. Boom, chicka, wow, wow. And do you still cosplay? No, I don't. I wish I had time for that. I still have all my old cosplays. Or at least most of them. I've got my Perry White, which is basically a green vest, a wig, and a handful of papers and a fake cigar. Orko I still have, but I have to reblock the hat. It got crushed when we moved from Illinois. And I still have the Uncle Marvel uniform, and I still have Mr. McShit's Pitlick. I ought to get that one out sometime. That's pretty good. That was a pretty good disguise. I was pretty happy with that one. I'm good at fishing for compliments, Sarah. Good for you. What kind of bait do you use? Anyway, I should have known Cookie suggested the fez. Ladies love the fez. It is true. It is so true. Am I not right, Carl? And happy to give it. And Sarah, you're welcome. And thank you for your discoveries from Carbondale. I've read them all. I can't help myself. Well, I'm going to pull some more from my local shop tomorrow for you, Sarah. So hopefully remember you'll enjoy them too. And I can feel no sense of measure. Good show. Thank you, Carl Witzman. I appreciate you being here, my man. I really do. And thank you, Carl, for everything this weekend. Okay. And Why I Love Jesus Illusion Show. Is there a character you don't like writing? I have to admit, the one that I can't discuss, I had a hard time getting into her head at first. I knew the character pretty well, but I just didn't quite get that spark of what made the character work. And then I reread the series Bible I was given, and suddenly it clicked. I suddenly knew who she was, and the rest of I'd already started the story, and it was flowing slowly. But now that I have this, in my head, bam, the rest of it just came flooding out. I just can't wait to get back to finishing it up and letting you all read it. But no, Jake, if I don't like writing the character, I won't write it. In fact, a company I used to work for had a character that was born of tragedy, but part of it was the character basically murdered two people. And I did not approve of the situation. And the editor insisted that I was going to write it. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, I can't write this in good conscience. I cannot try to make this a sympathetic character. I want this character brought to justice. I want this character to meet the same fate of her victims. And he's like, oh, no, you've got to write it because you're a better writer. I said, I am not. I am unfortunately an ethical writer. And that violates my ethics. I will not glorify this sort of thing. So anyway, that's my answer. I will not write a character I don't want to write. And we'd probably have an intervention at the same time. I should have had one decades ago. And which vintage character you'd like to see hit public domain next? Superman. No doubt about it. I want Superman. DC can have their distinctive trademarking. But see what will happen, and you probably know this, Cindy. Every year they move, every year another year from the past gets put into public domain. I think it's up to 1926 now. Next year will be like 1927, then 1928. And what is it? I think it's supposed to happen in 2034 that Superman, the first year of Superman, will go into public domain. Now, keep in mind, though, this is the Superman who cannot fly. He can only leap, an eighth of a mile and a quarter of a mile straight up. He can only run about 60 miles an hour, and nothing less than a bursting shell will penetrate his skin. He can be affected by gas. He doesn't have kryptonite yet, but the thing is also, he doesn't work for the Daily Planet or Perry White. He works for George Taylor at the Daily Star. The only elements that we know from that are Superman, who is in a very much weakened form, Clark Kent, and Lois Lane. Those are the only three characters we know. So, but I would love to be able to write that non-powered Superman. I think that'd be fun. And breaking down the dreams we make real. Sarah, dang it. I keep trying to think. I keep thinking of a pearl necklace when you talk about the pearl beads. I'm trying to be good. Cut it out, Sarah. Cut it out. Save it for me when we're talking later in private. And Why I Love Jesus show. Is there an author that you love that you regret not meeting after their passing? Warren Murphy. His website helped me write my first novel. I loved his book that he co-wrote. I loved a lot of his solo books, but he also co-created and wrote a series called The Destroyer, Remo Williams. They made a movie out of it in 1983 with Joel Grey and Fred Ward and Wilford Brimley. Great movie. I regret never meeting him. I also regret never meeting Jack Kirby or Kurt Swan as far as comic book people go. And I wish I had met Harlan Ellison, but I had an opportunity, but I deliberately did not take it because I was not feeling well. And I knew that Harlan didn't suffer fools gladly. And I was sure that I would wind up as the subject of his a book one day. So I decided not to. And leap tall buildings are faster than a speeding bullet. I'd rather be faster than a speeding bullet. And yes, you're the bestest. You are, Sarah. Mwah, don't argue with me. And are you tag teaming with any other creative sorts soon? Well, Eric Hawkins and I are talking about new projects all the time. I may or may not be collaborating with another one of my co-hosts on Comic Book Spectrum on a comic project. Got some other editing gigs lined up, which I didn't think I'd be doing editing, but here I am. Trying to think, and of course working with people like Matthew Jackson, Jeffrey Hayes, and Trevor Hawkins on future covers. I consider that a collaboration. So yeah, and I'm working with Charles F. Millhouse on some other projects. So yeah, I'm keeping busy. I'm keeping out of trouble mostly. But anyway, thank you. This has been fun. This has been glorious. And if you like, we will do this periodically. Not that my ego needs it, but I hope you got something out of it. I hope I could give you guys and gals something you could use. And I gotta say, it was a lot of fun for me. So thank you for indulging me tonight. And Glenn B. Fleming, all the love in the world to you, brother. And we will reschedule, I promise. And we've got a slate of shows coming up real soon. Next week, Carl Witzman and I will be doing a show on imposter syndrome again. So, and we've got some great guests lined up for that. And then we're still booking nailing down some shows in September. And at the end of September, we may have an announcement concerning Clever Tile Pending that you may like. So anyway, and what's the number of conventions that you have done? Too many. I honestly, I don't know how many. It's got to be a couple hundred by now. And thank you, Cindy Cat. You're the best. And everyone take care and stay creative. Love you all. Love you too, Rick Radley. And can't wait to see you in 2 Saturdays from now, brother. Going to be fun. And I'll be down the night before, so we will partay. We will feast. So anyway, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for indulging me this. And I hope you guys got something you can use and hope something will help you rise and move forward. Thank you for indulging me tonight. And while we're talking about thank yous, I want to say a huge thank you to our constant companion in advertising here, the one, the only Jeffrey Hayes. Thank you for being the sponsor of our shows, and Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, on the look of your book, matters to you. Plasma Fire Graphics, you've worked hard to create a great book. Well, you want a great cover to go around it too, to entice your customers. So definitely check out Jeffrey Hayes. Check out his Facebook page and see what kind of promotional graphics and book covers and book trailers he can do for you, all at affordable indie producer prices. Check him out, and also get in contact with him at plasmafiregraphics.com. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. More comments here as we're closing out. I'm not going to read hashtag pillow pants, Sarah, and you can't make me. Leave it. And I feel myself turning two-dimensional and swinging around and around. And thank you, Cindy. Thanks to you. I'm not the owner of a lonely heart. And don't die. Go sleep with Cookie. Wow. Anything you say, Jake. And good night, everyone. Donna, thank you for being here. Mwah. Love you, hon. And thanks for hosting the adventure. Great fun had by all. I hope so, Cindy. Thank you for being a great part of it. Mwah. And Damian Walbrun, who's designed my wonderful website. Please go see it at risingtide.pub. I don't have any questions, but I'm glad you decided to come on tonight despite not feeling it. I was in the same place and you got me out of it. Well, Damian, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicity, and maybe I was here maybe that's why I was here. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I could do the thing, Damien. Thank you so much. And thank you again for all you're doing for me, man. I love you, man. And good night, everyone. Thank you, Carl, for being here. And good night, sir. Good night, my friend. Thank you for being here. And night, yes, it is, Damien. Have a good one. And night, Carl. And Sarah. And are you planning to read the comic from Keanu Reeves? I've been reading it. It doesn't take long. There's not that much dialogue. It's not bad. If you head to hoopla.com, you could read it too. And great show, great network, great man. Thank you. Great friend. Appreciate you, Nick. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Night BKM, I enjoyed it. Joe, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being a part of the network here. And thank you for everything you do, my man. I appreciate you too. And so anyway, we're going to, let's see, did I get everybody? I got everybody so far. So anyway, we're going to move on here. And thank you again to Plasma Fire Graphics. Thank you to Damian Waldron for redoing my www.risingtide.pub website. Please check it out. It's beautiful and functional and everything I wish to God mine had been, but it wasn't, so I had to call on a pro. And this can go on longer, in my opinion. It probably will. Have a wonderful night. You too, Grant. Much love to you and Angie. Anyway, check out my latest book on Amazon, Snow Ambition, 4th in the Snow Short series. You don't need to read the others to understand what's going on in mine. I'm that kind of writer. Anyway, it's 99 cents from Amazon right now, and we think you'll dig it. It's a one-shot, quick read crime thriller. Definitely check it out. I'm very proud of this one. And also, I'm very proud of my Patreon supporters. Patreon, a monthly subscription service that allows you to support your favorite creators on a monthly basis. A small monthly stipend makes a lot of difference in our lives. And thanks to you, the show is strong and growing. And we'll have some announcements probably next week about a brand new show we're working on. But anyway, these people are supporting the show directly, and we love each and every one of them. Thank you guys very much. And if you would like to be a part of our Patreon subscribers, check us out at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. Did I mention that I give you stuff in return for your support? Well, check out what my rewards are, and check out also the Rising Tide Broadcasting Network. We've got 7 days a week of entertainment and information. And tomorrow I'll be back with another episode of Nevermind the Furthermore. And tomorrow night will be the Truthmongers, and Ted Davies and guest host Carl Witzman will be examining the Mandela effect. In fact, you probably have noticed it in tonight's episode. We had John Barrowman on, and we thank John Barrowman for being here. That's part of the effect. Tune in tomorrow for more information. You'll love it. And it's a great, great show. But we'll see you tomorrow morning at 10:30 on Nevermind the Furthermore. And I will be back next week with Carl Witzman, and we'll be talking to a panel about imposter syndrome. Do you feel like maybe you don't deserve the accolades you're getting? We might be able to cure you by the end of the show. I am pretty much over mine. And maybe we can help you with yours too, because you're amazing and you get things done. And Sarah, whoa, I just saw how much time passed. I'm shocked. I know, really? Man, it's like I could talk all night. And I do. Anyway, folks, thank you all again for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please share this with people. And also don't forget our challenge, 1100 by the end of Halloween night. And I will do a special, if I get that many subscribers or more, I will do a special 12-hour Nevermind the Furthermore with guests and giveaways. It'll be a lot of fun. Excuse me. And also get 1,000 subscribers in 1 month. 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 Running a test on algorithms. Thank you for indulging me, and thank you for being here tonight on Clever Title Pending. We'll see you next week with our imposter syndrome panel, and tomorrow, and tomorrow morning at 10 for Nevermind the Furthermore. So everyone, as always, thank you for being here, and as always, remember, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Thank you for joining me here tonight on Clever Title Pending. See you next week. Take care.